Once upon a time, in the village of Bantu, lived a humble farmer named Kwame. Kwame was known for his hard work and acts of generosity. One afternoon, while digging to plant yams, Kwame's hoe struck something hard. He dug deeper and discovered an old rusty pot buried in the soil. The pot looked ordinary, but something about it felt magical. Kwame took the pot home, cleaned it, and set it on his kitchen shelf. That evening, he decided to test the pot. He placed a single yam inside, hoping to cook it for dinner. To his amazement, the pot overflowed with yams. The more he took out, the more yams appeared. Kwame's eyes widened with wonder. He tried again, this time putting a handful of beans inside. The pot filled up with beans, spilling over the sides. Kwame danced with joy. He had discovered a magic pot that could multiply anything put inside. The next day, Kwame shared his discovery with his family. His wife, Amma, and their 3 children couldn't believe their eyes. They tried putting rice, and it overflowed with rice. They tried water, and it overflowed with water. Kwame realized that this pot was a blessing. It could end hunger in their village. News of the magic pot spread quickly through the village. People were curious and excited. They came to Kwame's house, bringing their own item to see if the pot would work for them too. And it did. Soon, everyone wanted to borrow the magic pot, but with great blessings come great challenges. Some villagers, like old Kofi and wise Nanaya, saw the pot as a gift to be shared. Others, like greedy Ajoa and Kojo, saw it as an opportunity for personal gain. Kwame knew he had to decide how to use the pot wisely. Little did he know that the magic pot would bring both joy and trouble to the village of Bantu. Kwame decided to call a village meeting to discuss the magic pot. The whole village gathered, their face filled with excitement and curiosity. Kwame stood up and shared how the pot worked and how it could help everyone. Let us use this pot wisely, Kwame said. We can make sure no one in our village ever goes hungry again. The villagers cheered. They agreed to take turns using the magic pot. Each family would have the pot for one day, and they could put in whatever they needed. The next morning, Amma took the pot to the first family, and the sharing began. At first, everything went well. The pot overflowed with rice, yams, beans, and even milk. The villagers were happy, and there was plenty of food for everyone. But soon, some people became greedy. Ajoa, who always wanted more, kept the pot longer than her turn. She put in gold jewelry and was overjoyed when it multiplied. She hid the extra gold, hoping to keep it for herself. Kojo, who saw this, grew envious. He started plotting how to get the pot for himself. He thought about how he could become the richest man in the village if he had the pot all the time. The village elders noticed the growing greed. Nanaya, the wisest of them all, called another meeting. She warned the villagers, the magic pot is a gift, but if we become selfish, it will bring trouble. We must use it wisely, she warned. Kwame nodded in agreement. He decided to set rules for using the pot. No one could keep it for more than a day, and everyone had to return it on time. He also reminded them that the pot was not for making riches, but for sharing blessings. Most villagers followed the rules, but the greed in Ajoa and Kojo's heart grew. They secretly plotted to take the pot for themselves, not realizing that their action would bring chaos to their peaceful village. Ajoa and Kojo's desire for the magic pot intensified each day. They started whispering to each other, forming a secret plan to steal the pot. They decided to act when it was Kojo's turn to use the pot. On the day Kojo had the pot, He pretended to return it to Kwame, but secretly handed it over to Ajua. She hid it in her house and began to fill it with valuable items, hoping to multiply her wealth. However, the villagers quickly noticed the pot was missing. They went to Kwame, asking where the pot was. Kwame was surprised and concerned. He went to Kojo, who lied and said he had returned it. The villagers started to grow suspicious. Kwame and Amma decided to search every house. They found nothing in Kojo's house, but when they reached Ajoa's house, they discovered the pot hidden under the bed. Ajoa tried to explain, but it was clear that she had been using the pot for her own gain. The villagers were angry and disappointed. They took the pot back to Kwame's house and held another meeting. This time, the mood was serious. Nanaya stood up and spoke with angry voice. This pot is a gift from the spirits. It was meant to help us all, not just one person. We must learn from this and never let greed take over our hearts. Kwame suggested a new plan. Instead of letting the pot move from house to house, they would keep it in the village square. Each family would come to the pot and use it under the watchful eye of the village elders. The villagers agreed, hoping this would prevent any further problems. But Ajoa and Kojo were not done with their plans. They whispered to each other, planning to steal the pot again. They believed if they worked together, they could outsmart the villagers. What Ajoa and Kojo didn't know was that the magic pot had its own ways of dealing with greed. The village was about to learn a valuable lesson about the true power of the magic pot and the importance of honesty and sharing. With the pot now in the village square, the villagers felt more at ease. They took turns using the pot, always under the watchful eyes of Kwame and the elders. But Ajoa and Kojo were still determined to get the pot for themselves. One night, when the moon was high and the village was asleep, Ajoa and Kojo sneaked into the village square. They carefully lifted the pot and ran to the edge of the village where they had prepared a hiding place. Now, we can use it whenever we want, Ajoa whispered. They placed the pot on the ground and decided to test it one more time. Kojo put in a small piece of gold, as expected. The pot overflowed with gold. They laughed quietly, excited about their newfound wealth. Let's try money, Ajoa suggested. Kojo took out a small pouch of coins and poured them into the pot. Immediately, the pot overflowed with coins, spilling out more and more money. Their eyes widened in disbelief. They scooped up the coins, thinking of all the things they could buy. But then, something strange happened. The pot started to shake and rattle. Coins flew out, scattering everywhere. Ajoa and Kojo tried to catch the money, but the pot wouldn't stop. It overflowed with so much money that it buried them up to their knees. They realized they couldn't control the pot. It kept overflowing more and more. The noise woke up the villagers. They rushed to the village square, only to find the pot and the two greedy villagers buried in the money. Nanaya stepped forward, her eyes filled with wisdom. The spirits have spoken. She said, "This pot is not meant for greed. It is a gift for all, not just for two." Kwame helped dig out Ajoa and Kojo. They were ashamed and apologized to the village. The villagers, seeing their remorse, decided to forgive them, but made sure they learned their lesson. From that day on, Ajoa and Kojo worked hard to help others, trying to make up for their greed. The pot was returned to the village square, and the villagers took extra care to follow the rules. The magic pot never overflowed with money again, but it continued to provide food and water for everyone. Kwame and Amma continued to oversee the use of the pot, ensuring that everybody had what they needed. One day, a traveler named Malik arrived in the village. He had heard rumors of a magic pot and wanted to see for himself. The villagers welcomed him warmly and showed him the pot. Malik was amazed and asked if he could use it. Kwame and Nanaya explained the rules and allowed Malik to put in a handful of rice. The pot overflowed with rice, just as it always did. Malik was impressed and thanked the villagers for their kindness. Malik shared his own story. He came from a distant village suffering from drought and famine. The villagers of Bantu decided to help. They used the magic pot to fill Malik's bag with food and water, enough to sustain his village for months. When Malik left, he carried with him not just food, but the story of the magic pot and the lessons of Bantu village. Years passed, and the magic pot continued to bless the village of Bantu.